What's going on, everybody? We're back with yet another video, and this time it is not going to be a day late because I fall asleep before finishing it. I mean, the editing part and the thumbnail part. But yeah, no, that's completely fine. Last night was the first game of the season. What a game we got, right? In the first half, at least. Second half got a little boring, and then CD's drops, which it's a really good nickname, but CD's drops instead of CD nuts. No, yeah, what a phenomenal game it was. But I kind of wanted to go over something a little bit completely different, and I should probably start by telling you who I am. My name is Cody Lear. If you've been in these videos before, I just kind of ramble a lot, and I like to talk football and stuff like that, so if you are definitely interested in that, you should like it, you should comment, and you should subscribe. Because sometimes I'm funny, sometimes I have good thoughts, right now we're 1-0 in predictions, even though I think everybody pretty much predicted the Eagles to win last night. But yeah. Today, what I wanted to do was I wanted to go over the the award winners. The NFL honors is in February every year now, and I kind of wanted to go over who I thought could win every single award. We have Offensive Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year, Comeback Player, Head Coach, MVP, everything like that. I wanted to go over everything that I think could be the case, and I kind of want to see where we go here, right? Let's go ahead and try to predict it, try to have a little bit of fun with it, and we'll see how wrong we are in a few months. Just a few months as I try to get the camera correct. There we go, even though it is going to be slanted and at an edge, it's going to be fine. Starting off with the Offensive Rookie of the Year. Now, as a Titans fan, the immediate bias would go to Cam Ward. I'm not going to go with Cam Ward, to be honest with you. I think the quarterback. I don't think it's going to be a quarterback this year, actually. I think it's going to be a running back. In fact, I think it's going to be the running back Ashton Jeanty. I have nothing but faith in an offense of Pete Carroll's that involves a running back that can run the ball a lot and take those carries, and he's a pretty tough dude as it is. Ashton Jeanty was a phenomenal player in college. We saw how Boise State looked without him this last weekend. They didn't look as good. They didn't look quite as good. Ashton Jeanty is an absolute powerhouse. I know people are comparing him to saying he might be the new Derrick Henry. Maybe that is the case. I don't completely know, but I do know that I am absolutely excited to see what he can do. But the fact of the matter is that that offense has a pretty young offensive line. They have a really good tight end combo, as I think Michael Mayer is still going to reach his potential, and you always have Brock Bowers to go stretch out wide. If they can pay Jakobi Meyers, which hopefully they do, especially with the news of Amari Cooper's retirement, that they will find a way to get Ashton Jeanty the ball even more. Ashton Jeanty will be able to create space, get the job done. In fact, I feel like that's why you use him. That's why you drafted him that early, and you have the kind of schedule to do it as you're going against some really good teams like the Chargers, the Broncos, the Chiefs. If he can show out against them, why would he not be the Offensive Rookie of the Year? Switching over to the Defensive Rookie of the Year. Now, I feel like it could go a couple ways, right? Travis Hunter is an obvious one. I think Jahad Campbell, yeah, last night was the Eagles game. His debut, he looked really, really solid. For me, I think I'm going to go to the guy that I thought was the best player coming into the draft, and that is Abdul Carter. I kind of like what he's got over there. He's got Kayvon Thibodeaux, Dexter Lawrence, and Brian Burns to work with. So he is going to be able to rush the passer if need be. They're going to be able to send different kind of packages at the quarterback and hope that they can hit that quarterback. Their secondary, I think, has a little bit of things to work on, and that might be the only thing that concerns me a little bit with this. But I really do think Abdul Carter is going to be able to get to the quarterback, be able to stuff the run just like he did at Penn State, be able to do everything that he did before he went to the New York Football Giants. And that's why I have a lot of faith in believing that he will be the guy that will be able to develop and be the next one in terms of who I think will be the Defensive Rookie of the Year. Now, I don't think I'm going to do honorable mentions with this, but if I did have to pick an honorable mention, my honorable mention might be uh, Travis Hunter. I do think Travis Hunter's going to have a pretty good season over there in Jacksonville. I think he should be. It's possible that he could be both a good wide receiver and cornerback. And I also think Mykel Williams could be a really big deal. Jahad Campbell, obviously, and maybe even James Pierce. Why not? We'll go with them. Now, comeback player of the year. Now, this award is usually given to a guy that came back from injury. At least I think. I forgot who won it last year, to be honest with you, but I think it could be J.J. McCarthy. And let me tell you why. I think if Minnesota somehow starts winning some football games this year, that J.J. McCarthy has to be looked at for that. He isn't the best offensive talent, at least as we know right now. He could end up being that guy. He has Justin Jefferson, and when Jordan Addison comes back from his suspension, he's got him coming. He's got a really good football team over there. I like J.J. McCarthy a lot. I honestly, when he was coming into the draft, he was definitely my fourth favorite quarterback in that draft class because I did like the three that went number 1, 2, and 3, and I could definitely see him showing up and showing out in his first official year playing, even though it was technically his second year. I would say that he has the best chance to be a comeback player of the year, especially because we know that he's starting. I'm sure that there's other players that I'm just not thinking off the top of my head that are going to be able to fight for that position, and then I'll just prove to be wrong. Now, Coach of the Year, I'm going to go out on a limb. All right, this is going to be a crazy one because I pretty much yell for it every year. I'm going to want Dan Campbell. I'm going to go for Dan Campbell and the Lions. And because they lost their offensive coordinator and their defensive coordinator, I think that needs to be considered if the Lions go on a run or even win their division. Especially now that the Packers have Micah Parsons. I got to quit watching these videos on YouTube. Uh, now that they have Micah Parsons, I think that it might be even more impressive if the Lions find a way to still win this division. Caleb Williams is going to be better with Ben Johnson. At least we're pretty confident in that case. J.J. McCarthy, we just talked about him. The Minnesota Vikings have a pretty nice team. A really good defensive play caller in Brian Flores. And the Green Bay Packers still have a pretty fun offense and a really talented defense under Jeff Hafley. So I think I'm going to push for Dan Campbell to win Coach of the Year. If the Lions still somehow find a way to win that division, I think that he's got to be the favorite. At least I hope so. So that's what I'm going to go with. I am going to go with Motor City Dan Campbell to win Coach of the Year. Now, we're going to go over to the Offensive Player of the Year. Now, this is usually the one that's not a QB award. So, the guy that I'm going to pick to be the Offensive Player of the Year, and I know that it's going to be a little bit. I'm going out on a limb here, but I'm going to go with Ja'Marr Chase. Yeah. So that pretty much gives away that my MVP one is not going to be Joe Burrow, but I do believe that Ja'Marr Chase, especially after winning the Triple Crown last year, that he deserves to be in that shake right now. I know Saquon could go for 2,000. Last night was not a great start, but that's completely fine. Ja'Marr Chase is just one of the best receiver in football currently. I think it's him or Justin Jefferson, 1 and 2. And right now, I think it's Ja'Marr Chase just based on his stats. So, yeah, I don't see why there's no case that he becomes the Offensive Player of the Year this year. He is so talented. He is so good. He has one of the best quarterbacks in the league throwing the ball to him. So, yeah, let me go out on a limb. Let me say it's going to be Ja'Marr Chase. There's not really too many things I need to go into detail on this one. As long as their O-line holds up and T. Higgins is able to get the routes that he does, he's going to get Ja'Marr Chase some more opportunities. Now, I don't know how their wide receiver 3 or tight end position looks, but I still believe that Ja'Marr Chase is going to find his way to get there, and he's going to get to those touchdowns, and he's still going to be the best receiver in football currently. Defensive Player of the Year. This one I'm going to predict it to be Mad Max Crosby because I just want it to be Mad Max Crosby. I think he might be the best defensive end in the league. Yes, I know that's kind of crazy, right? Because Myles Garrett is a very good player. Micah Parsons, very good player. TJ Watt, he's more of an outside linebacker, but very good player. Max Crosby is so good at stopping the run, getting to the quarterback, just making the necessary tackles that are needed, that he just gives me the thought of that he might be the best defensive player in football. I'm a humongous fan of Mad Max Crosby, and that's why I want him to be the defensive player of the year. Yeah, it's a little bit going on a limb to believe that the Raiders are going to have two players to go win an award, but at the same time, we've seen it before. We've seen it with offensive rookie and defensive rookie of the year before with Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson. So why not go out on a limb and think Mad Max Crosby and Ashton Genty could both come back with some hardware this year? I think Mad Max Crosby is the best defensive end in the league for me personally because I think he does everything better than everyone else. There are some that are some great pass rushers, but some of them are, but they're not as great at stopping the run. Crosby does things, both of those things, very, very well. That's why I like him the most, and I'm going to pick him to be my defensive player of the year. Now, my MVP. The MVP last year was Josh Allen. The year before it was Lamar Jackson. Patrick Mahomes has won a couple. Lamar's won a couple at this point. I think that this year, the guy that wins MVP is going to be Jalen Hurts. I know that it's kind of crazy to believe that thing, but I do believe, especially with what I saw last night, which is why I kind of thought to me he could definitely be that guy if he stays consistent. He ran in 2 touchdowns. He still threw for over 150 yards. He ran the ball for over 50 yards. So he still went out there and got his yards. Yeah, maybe not the most impressive performance that you've ever seen, but the guy does get to the end zone. He is a really, really good quarterback. He's pretty accurate. He's really talented, and he has the best O line in the league right now. So for me, I think Jalen Hurts definitely has the option to be that future MVP coming forward. And even though I'm a day late in getting this out, I still think my faith stays with Jalen Hurts to be the MVP. I think he's going to be one of the best talents. I know what he can do because I've seen it many, many times at this point. I've seen it in the Super Bowl. I've seen it in the playoffs. Yeah, Jalen Hurts is the guy that I do believe is going to be the MVP. And I am going to stick with that. Hopefully, my NFL honors predictions are right on this. And I'm going to stick with it. But that is going to be it for me today. Hopefully, I can get this out today. I keep trying to. But if you do like what I had to say, please let me know what you think down below. If you don't believe me, I understand that because I'm going out on a limb on a couple of these. But if you do agree or you just have your own opinions, please let me know. I want to hear everybody's thoughts. Give me a like, give me a comment, give me a subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you guys so very much. I'm trying to find a better background. Things are just kind of how they are. But either way, I do appreciate you all for stopping by today, and I'll see you all on the next video.